Fight for Family, a Paw Patrol story. How can the pack help you? Luna asked. We have a situation, Chase replied. He looked around and noticed that a certain pup was missing. Where's Apollo? He's with the rest of the pack, she replied. He's okay. And what about you? We're good, Chase replied. You remember Marshall and Sweetie, correct? Hello, Marshall and Sweetie said in unison. Hello, Luna repeated. And the rest of the team? How are they? That's the problem, Chase replied. Puissance returned. He took over the kingdom again, but this time, he's not alone. He allied himself with a bounty hunter named Tristan. This man came to Adventure Bay and captured the rest of the team. Tristan was going to get us, but he and his men were called back to Barkingburg. The alpha wolf took a moment to take it in. So you plan on saving them with our help? Chase nodded. Not just that. We have to take down Puissance once and for all. I understand, Luna said. The pack will assist you, but we must take care of some things first. Let's meet again at the break of dawn outside your tower. Okay, Chase said. They watched as the wolves turned around and disappeared into the night. Chase looked at Marshall. That was some good thinking, Marshall. Thanks, Marshall replied. So, what now? Sweetie asked. We just wait until the morning? Yeah, Chase said. We have to come up with a plan before we do anything. Sweetie didn't want to wait. The longer they waited, the more danger the princess and the Paw Patrol were. But she had to wait. She needed Chase and Marshall's help. She followed Chase and Marshall back to the lookout. Chase and Marshall parked their trucks in their designated spots and they turned into pup houses. Sweetie parked her vehicle in between them both and it turned into pup house as well. All right, good night, Chase, Marshall said. Good night, Sweetie. Good night, Marshall, they said at the same time. Chase looked at Sweetie. Good night, Sweetie. And I hope to wake up here in the morning. Sweetie laughed nervously. She remembered how she captured Chase inside his own vehicle and took him to Barkingburg. Don't worry, Chase. I changed. Good night. All three pups entered their pup houses and turned in for the night. The following morning, Chase was the first to wake up as usual. He yawned and stretched before walking out. He turned to his right and called out to Sweetie. Sweetie, time to wake up, he said. Sweetie started to turn as she woke. Huh? What? She asked. Time to wake up, Chase repeated. Oh, she said softly. She got up with difficulty, stretched, and walked out to meet up with Chase. This is how you wake up the pups every morning. Pretty much, Chase replied. Wow, Sweetie exclaimed. I usually wake up whenever I want, so a lot later. Chase shrugged. Everyone does things their own way. I guess so. Chase and Sweetie walked over to Marshall's pup house. Marshall, Chase said. Time to go up. There was no response, so Chase repeated. Marshall, time to get up. I heard you, Marshall said as he walked out. His left eye was still closed, and his right eye was barely open. I'm up. Are you, though? Chase asked. Sweetie laughed at the joke. Marshall shook his head fast and looked at Chase normally. Okay, now I am, he said. What now? Well, first, we have to eat breakfast, Chase said. Marshall sighed happily. I was hoping you would say that. I'm starving. Chase, Marshall, and Sweetie walked into the lookout. Since Ryder wasn't there, the responsibility of serving the pup breakfast fell on Chase. It always happened whenever Ryder was out, whether it was work-related or not, so he had no problem with it. He pulled out his and Marshall's bowls and looked at Sweetie. He figured he couldn't use one of the other pups' bowls. Chase walked to the back of the kitchen, opened a cabinet by pulling on the cloth tied to the handle, and pulled out an extra bowl they had. Chase dragged the bag of food over to where Marshall and Sweetie waited patiently. He dropped the bag enough so that he could reach the opening comfortably. He grabbed the scoop inside of the bag and used it to collect kibbles. Chase carefully filled the bowls with food. When he first learned how to serve breakfast, he dropped more food on the ground than he did in the bowls, but he's gotten more practice since then. Chase dragged the bag back to its place, walked over to Marshall and Sweetie, and exclaimed, "Breakfast is served." "You serve the breakfast here?" Sweetie asked. "When Ryder isn't around," Chase replied. He looked down at Sweetie's borrowed bowl. It was smaller than Chase and Marshall's. Sorry for the size of the bowl," he apologized. "The only extra ones we had available were our old ones that we grew out of." "That's okay, Chase," Sweetie replied. "I don't eat a lot in the morning anyways." The three pups ate their food in silence until Marshall broke the silence. "So," Marshall said as he swallowed the last of his food. "Did you have a plan in mind, Chase?" Chase looked up at Marshall. "Well, a start of one," he replied. "With the help of Luna's pack, we find out where the soldiers are. The team could either be at the castle or somewhere else. But first, we need to find the princess." "The princess?" Sweetie asked. "Why her first?" "Not that I'm complaining, just curious." Chase looked at her. "You said the princess was still at the castle, right?" Sweetie nodded. "Then we know her location," Chase said. "That's certain. She also knows more about Barkingburg than we do. She could help us finding out where they could be kept if they aren't at the castle. It's not much, but it's a start." Marshall and Sweetie nodded. The white terrier couldn't help but smile. She finally had some more hope that the princess will be saved. All three pups heard howling outside the tower. "Let's go," Chase said. "No time to waste. Let's rescue our families." Chapter 8. Chase, Marshall, and Sweetie walked out of the lookout. They were met with a dozen wolves with Luna in front of them. "Forgive me for not being here earlier," she said. "I had to do something first." "Don't worry, Alpha Luna," Marshall replied. "We were just finishing up our breakfast." "I see," Luna said. "Well, we have no more daylight to waste. I have some news." Luna and the pups walked into the tower while the other wolves waited outside. They sat down in the living room facing each other. "What news did you have?" Chase asked. "Do you remember when I told you about the rogue wolves? Titan, Echo, Blanco, and the others?" Chase and Marshall nodded, but Sweetie shook her head. "I was never told that story," the white terrier said. "We'll fill you in later," Chase told her. He returned his gaze to Luna. "We remember them. A wolf of my pack has brought it to my attention that Titan and his pack are in Barkingburg. They met up with the king and some wolves were seen patrolling the castle." "So Jason has a pack of wolves to work for him?" Sweetie asked. Luna shook her head. "No, I know Titan. He won't work for anyone, especially a human." "So it's an alliance," Chase guessed. "Why?" "I don't know," Luna confessed. "But it can't be good for none of us. Titan has a plan, and he's using the king as a pawn." "So we have two evil leaders out to get us," Marshall said. "That's nice." "I wish that weren't the case," Luna sympathized. "Nevertheless, we have to be careful. None of us are out of harm's way." Marshall looked at the German shepherd, who was looking at the ground in front of him. He could have sworn he saw the gears turning in Chase's eyes. He knew that look too well. "Chase," Marshall said. "What are you thinking?" Chase looked at Marshall. "About a way to stay on top," he said. Chase turned to the wolf. Luna, when's the last time you talked to Zeus? Who's Zeus? Sweetie asked. She started to think that she should get out of Barkingburg more. My sons, Apollo, father, Luna replied. It has been several days. What are you thinking? Can you contact him to meet us here? We are going to need a lot of help. That's why I'm here, a man said the lookout doors. The four canines quickly turned to see an old friend standing there. Hey, Solon, Chase said. When did you get here? Just now, he replied. After I called, I decided to come help in any way I could. Thanks, Chase said. They all rode to the top floor of the lookout. Chase walked over to the monitor and pressed some buttons. A map of Barkingburg appeared on the screen. So what's the plan, Chase? Marshall asked. Well, first, we have to go rescue the princess and the earl. Sweetie said in the castle dungeon. We're going to have to get to them first before Jason decides to move them. Sweetie, how did you exit the castle after you escaped from the cage? The same way you did, Sweetie replied. But I don't think all of us are going to fit. That's fine, Chase said. Not all of us have to. Just me and Marshall. Alpha and the wolves will be on patrol, watching and making sure we have an easy way in or out of the castle. Sweetie, Solon and his men are going to be across the main bridge as a distraction. That way, we have a clear coast. If things go as I would like them to. The king will order the resistance to be taken down, so he will get his soldiers to investigate. Hopefully, that lets us lead the princess and the earl to safety. Once we get them out, we will need a place to regroup. I own an apartment building inside the city, Solon announced as he pressed a few buttons and a line circled an entire block on the map, highlighting the area green. The 5th floor is used as a safe house, so we can meet up there. The others looked at him. What? I inherited it. Okay, that works, Chase said. We'll meet there and discuss the next part of the plan. Any questions? No one said anything. Okay. Get everything ready. We live in an hour. Let's hope we're not too late.